that Dominic Cummings, this is a big fresh blow to the Tories, Dominic Cummings has called on voters to back reform. He seems to have defected, or at least to some degree. Of course, Dominic Cummings, known as the Brexit mastermind, and of course Boris Johnson's chief of staff. Of course, we had the whole Barnard Castle debacle, and he had to go. Some people think he's a nutter, some people think he's very intelligent, some a bit of both, but he's quite an important figure, and I do think that this is quite important. It just shows how the Tory ship is just falling and falling one by one. More and more important people are ditching the Conservative Party and moving over to Reform. So let's have a look at what Dominic Cummings had to say. It's maybe not quite as strong as a defection as the headline suggests, but he's at least saying obviously everyone should vote for reform this spring. No downsides, just upsides. So seems as though maybe he's not 100% sure about what's going to happen come the 2029 general election, but at least in the short term and with the local elections, Dominic Cummings thinks that people should vote for the Reform Party. And this comes after, Dominic Cummings, he was Boris's right-hand man. We've had various rumours over the past week or two of Boris Johnson potentially wanting to make a comeback to the Tory party. We were just talking earlier in the podcast about how he's an amazing he's got an amazing personality, amazing charisma. He's a great vote winner. But clearly Dominic Cummings is not interested in the way that Boris Johnson is in trying to revive the Tory party. He has jumped ship to the Reform Party. So, Connie, what do you think? Do you think that this is going to have an impact on reform? Dominic Cummings coming out and saying people should vote for the Reform Party, or do you think Dominic Cummings is old news now and not that popular, given he was behind lockdowns to a degree?
For Reform as a party, it'll be great. I mean, I know that Farage is very happy about this, obviously, as you would be. But I think for the electorate, I mean, Dominic Cummings, all really people know, I would say the average person know him about is for the scandal in lockdown of him needing to test his eyesight by taking a drive in the car. But I think it's interesting, the wording of it, because I wondered when I read it, is he saying that he actually supports Reform UK, or is it because he wants Labour to be defeated, and therefore by voting for Reform that will most be the most likely to get Labour out of their seats. So I'm not really sure what to take from it. I think I agree with you. I think the headline is slightly misleading.
Kane, Paul says he mugged us off over Barnard Castle and knifed Boris in the back, so he has a lot to prove to me. Do you think that Dominic Cummings still has much respect amongst the public? Do you think that his defection will have much of an impact? And if he does say that he wants to be involved in the Reform Party and play an active role in it, do you think that Farage should welcome him?
Well, Paul's not wrong. Let's just say that. I mean, there's not a lot of love lost between the Tory party and Dominic Cummings, to be honest, and particularly with Boris and Dominic Cummings, I don't think any love lost now. It's I think it's an interesting tweet that he's made. I think it's an interesting situation. Journalists and, Westminster and the lobby are going to go, oh, look at this, it's amazing, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to shift the dial. I don't think anyone's going to go, well, look, now Dominic Cummings has said we should all vote Reform, we're all going to go do it now. I mean, a lot of people are anyway. So I don't think Nigel Farage needs Dominic Cummings to help him win people over. He's doing a very good job of it himself. So I think it's just it's an interesting thing. And, at the end of the day, Dominic Cummings can say what he wants and do what he wants, quite frankly. I mean, he always does. And I think a lot of people were very disappointed by Dominic Cummings because I think, we saw him as the architect of Brexit, led the Vote Leave campaign. It's a fantastic mind, and he is a very, very clever man. But when he got into government, it all just unraveled very, very quickly. And I just don't think he can deal with the fact the way that government works. I mean, I don't think the government should work in the way it does, quite honestly, but sometimes you have to work with it to actually change it to a certain extent. Um, I mean, I quite frankly, we need a massive overhaul and a great repeal bill and everything like that, but we'll save that for another day. But it's a really interesting situation at the moment where you've got people, people in the Tory party defecting to reform, and I, from what I understand, there will be a big name defecting in the next few weeks, from what I hear.
Okay, there we go. We'll look out for that.